Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Spolstra, and I am the Assistant Director of Alumni and Recent Grad Events with our Western Washington Alumni Association. Thank you for being here today. For the past 42 years, the Alumni Association has been honored to host this ceremony that recognizes Western's best. Our best researchers, our best leaders, our best thinkers, our best creators, our best change makers, our best students. Over the past 42 years, our outstanding graduates have moved on to create companies, sell them, and create them again, providing jobs for thousands. They have become leading researchers in the world's top industries. They have taught at the world's top schools, whether they be in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, or universities like Oxford, Stanford, Harvard, Princeton, and of course the best university of all, Western. That's right. They've traveled the world, providing years of selfless work for those less fortunate. They have become proven ethical leaders in their businesses, their communities, their states, and their country. They have performed at world-renowned concert halls, opera houses, and have had their work displayed in museums worldwide. Over the past 42 years, Western Washington University has graduated outstanding students who have benefited, impacted, and changed our world for the better. The Outstanding Graduate Awards ceremony doesn't just recognize our top students, however, it also recognizes our top professors. These professors are nationally known for their research and teaching, and they are highly recognized in their fields. But these professors aren't sitting with you today because of their accomplishments. These faculty members sit with you today because they are inspired by you and are proud of you and all of your hard work. And although they sit here with you, don't forget that it's because of these faculty members and the opportunities that they have provided to you, the connections they had offered you, and the wisdom they have shared with you that you also are here today. Don't forget that much of your success is because of the opportunities created by your alma mater. The Outstanding Graduate Award is a crystal globe. Pull it out here for you guys. It's pretty heavy, careful. It represents our planet. The planet that we are certain that you're going to benefit and impact and change for the better. It's also a great paperweight, if you want to toss it around too. Display it proudly. You guys have definitely earned it. Now, emceeing today's ceremony is the president of Western's Faculty Senate. She is not only the lead representative of Western's accomplished faculty, but she is also one of Western's most popular, approachable, and challenging professors. So please welcome your NC for the evening, Professor in Western's College of Science and Engineering, Dr. Kristen Larson.
It really is a pleasure to MC this event, although I hope everyone is aware of the fact that I have the most difficult job at the university today. I have to convince faculty members to stop talking about their favorite graduate. We talk for a living, okay? And I've been given this awesome responsibility. I want to let you know, too, the reason why this is such a difficult thing is that being the outstanding graduate is not just about GPA. If that were true, we'd come up and say the GPA and walk right off, be out of here in no time flat. But in fact, outstanding graduates are chosen not just for their GPA, their work in the classroom, but their work out of the classroom, their work on research and creative endeavors, their work in the communities, the community of Western, their own home communities, and the wider community of us all. So it is actually a very challenging thing to summarize what these students have done, what they mean to us, and what they have plans to go on and do in such a short amount of time. So, Madam Timekeeper, how much time do these faculty members have?
2 minutes.
Do you hear that, faculty? She said 90 seconds. Did you hear that? 2 minutes. And so there will be a sign that goes up when you have 30 seconds. And there will be a sign that goes up when you have no seconds. And just in case you think you're going to go beyond that, ask not for whom the cowbell tolls. You know who you are. To be respectful of all of the amazing students and faculty here today, we do really ask that you limit your time to what's been allotted, and please, with no further ado, let's begin. Most of the awards will be given in alphabetical order. There are a few that are out of order due to special circumstances. We keep students working right through finals week. Many of these students are still going on to complete their responsibilities for their degrees, believe it or not, tonight. So the first is the TESOL certificate.
Good afternoon. I'm Tricia Skillman, and this is Malaya Smith. Malaya Smith is the outstanding graduate for the TESOL certificate program in elementary education. She's reached the highest standards of academic excellence and class participation in our program. Malaya went above and beyond requirements of every course, inspiring classmates and mentors alike with her excellent teaching demonstrations, her leadership, and her cooperative work. Malaya has contributed greatly to international students, immigrants, and refugees through her community service and her ESL teaching. She has easily completed more than double the 100 hours of service learning required for her TESOL certificate. And even as a service learning student, she took on responsibility for creating materials, making presentations, teaching parts of classes, and tutoring students on campus. Every quarter, her mentoring teachers testified to her capability and her responsibility. Finally, Malaya is a graduate who will continue to make us proud in the future. Malaya has already been accepted into the MA in Speech Language Pathology at Western. Her goals are to use her TESOL background to provide proper screening, placement, and speech therapy services adapted to the special needs of immigrant and refugee children in the public schools. By combining her major in communication sciences and disorders with her minor in TESOL, she exemplifies the power of students to draw on and integrate academic studies that benefit greater societal need. 30 years ago, on the same stage, I stood in Malaya's place, receiving an award as an outstanding student. So it is with special pleasure that I welcome Malaya into this group and hope that she will serve ESL students and Western's legacy for the next 30 years. Thank you. Now I can retire.
Next, we have design.
I'm Paula Eric, and this is Alicia Perry. This is a funny thing in front of me. It's a microphone, and it takes these thoughts inside of my head and makes them loud enough that you can hear them. And it's a small thing in some ways that becomes big, and what Alicia has done over the time that she spent at Western is very similar. Designers don't just take language and help that become more visible, but they take emotion and make it something that can go out there and impact people. Alicia has been a lead designer for The Planet magazine, as well as designing the Bellingham Review. She's also participated in department publications. She's gone through 2 competitive portfolio reviews to get to where she is now. And all of that, she's been a selfless part of our department, contributing in so many ways. We're so proud of her work, and I hope that she can feel some of the impact by seeing all of you and hearing your accolades tonight. We're so proud of you, Alicia. Thank you.
East Asian Studies.
I'm I'm Jen Xing. This is Evans Brewster. Elise is a quiet, shy student. However, when it comes to the acquisition of skills and knowledge, she is very focused and meticulous, and has outperformed all her peers in the East Asian Studies program and the Chinese program. She has a near perfect GPA from both programs, and there's no better word to describe her accomplishment other than outstanding graduate senior. In fact, Elise has completed 3 majors: East Asian Studies, Chinese Language and Culture, and Design, and also a minor in Anthropology in just 4 years. On top of that, she also did an intensive study abroad program in summer in China. Her case is so rare at Western that the registrar's office had to manually enter her 3rd major into the computer system. What an accomplishment. After she graduated from Western, she will be teaching English in Taiwan for a year as a Fulbright teaching scholar. Please, we want you to know that all the East Asian Studies professors and Chinese professors, of course I assume the design professors as well, we're all rooting for you as you will take your skills and knowledge that you acquired from Western to face an exciting career ahead of you. Congratulations and good luck.
Kinesiology.
Thank you. I'm Dave Suprak, and it's my pleasure to present this award to Bryn Dykes. As we talked about this award among the faculty, we unanimously chose Bryn Dykes because she really exemplifies the values of Western Washington University. She's an exemplary student in the classroom. She's also a great scholar in the laboratory, and she completed her honors project with one of our faculty in my laboratory. And not only that, she's also a really important part of our community, not only on campus, but also in Bellingham. And so I'm just going to give you a couple of the highlights of all the things she's done. Just know that I could go on and on and on. So for the last 3 years, she's been part of a club called Western Community Outreach, and this year she was taken on as an officer. In that capacity, she coordinated a meal provision program for those in need in Bellingham, and also helped put on the Be Our Guest event to help transport and feed needy community members. On top of that, she also helped distribute food, clothing, and toiletries to the downtown community to needy community members as well. And she has also volunteered in the past in an outpatient physical therapy clinic, as well as with the rehab department at a skilled nursing facility. Like I said, she completed her honors thesis with Dr. Jun San-Wan on the effects of finger taping on forearm muscle activation, and she's submitting that now to a peer-reviewed journal for publication. And she did that with, she had difficulties at the beginning throughout data collection, and we had to work through that. She did it all with poise and confidence and this awesome smile that you see there. So, not only that, she's clearly a dedicated student, and she's going to make a huge impact in the world, so we're excited about this. So it's my pleasure to present this award to Bryn Dykes. Thank you.
And so now we begin at the beginning of the alphabet, accounting.
I'm Brock Tolar, and this is Tori Yost. Tori was chosen as our outstanding graduate, not only because of his excellent academic standing, but also his personal accomplishments, some of which I would like to mention here. Tori was born and raised in Spain, and before coming to Western, he graduated from a Bible college in rural Wyoming. Tori has some very interesting work experience. He worked in a cattle ranch, a sugar beet factory, a fish processing plant, and also helped build a house from start to finish. Despite his young age, Tori has worked vigorously to make a difference in other people's lives. He served in several Christian summer camps for kids. He was in Papua New Guinea as an accounting intern for a nonprofit development agency, and also volunteered as an accounting tutor and tutoring center coordinator, and helped many of our students in the accounting department. Tori likes, and I should say he's very capable of, taking classes and applying concepts from those classes to the life itself. He also likes listening to audiobooks, podcasts, and sermons on double speed. And finally, as a good accountant, he's very fond of Microsoft Excel. Based on his academic excellence, dedication to the field of accounting, and outstanding record of community service, the faculty in the accounting department is very pleased to present Tori with the Outstanding Graduate Award. Congratulations.
And now we have American Cultural Studies.
Buenas tardes. I'm Larry Estrada, and this is Marco Morales Mendez. You know, when we talk about students and student achievement, we often have to understand the challenges that those students went through before they came to be in the position where they are today. Let me just tell you one thing. I first met Marco as a 15-year-old sophomore at Mount Vernon High School, where he was one of the leaders of a walkout at Mount Vernon High School in a protest that talked about the inequalities of Latina students within Mount Vernon High School and the Mount Vernon School District. Largely because of his activism and his fervor to change things at Mount Vernon High School, he graduated from Mount Vernon High School with a total GPA of 1.8. Yes, 1.8. He was told by his counselors, he was told by his teachers, maybe it'd be best if you go to a trade school. Learn a good trade, use your hands, support your family, make a good living. Instead, Marco decided not to listen to them at that time, just like he hadn't listened to them before. And he said, I'm going to go on to college. And I'm really interested in studying social and political theory. So he went on to Whatcom Community College, where he studied political and social theory. He got a 4.0 in Whatcom. Came to Western Washington University, slouched a little bit because he only got a 3.96. But he did graduate magna cum laude. And most recently, he was accepted at the University of Heidelberg in Heidelberg, Germany, with a Fulbright scholarship in social and political theory in their Center for American Studies. Now, if you haven't heard about University of Heidelberg, it is the Harvard of Germany. And he will be studying social and political theory and following the ranks of social theorists such as Hannah Arendt, Max Weber, Franz Boas, yes, Albert Einstein. So I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about Marco Morales Mendez. He has a tribute to his community and to Western Washington University. Marco, thank you.
Anthropology.
Well, for once, the Anthropology department didn't have a difficult time making this decision, because Maria Vitor is an absolute polymath who has the support across all of our subdisciplines, biological, cultural, linguistic, and so no fights this year. Maria does have a focus that is education of our children from preschool to graduate school. The breadth of her work and interests at Western is attested by the faculty that are in the audience today to support her. We had English, education, the libraries, SOS. Everybody's got a piece of Maria, and she a piece of us. Okay. Maria has been accepted into the highly selective master's program in education policy, organization, and leadership at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana for the fall. Maria has a unique educational history. She was unhappily homeschooled in a very narrow curriculum. This ended, I found out last night, when she just went to the printer, printed a diploma, had her father sign it, and went off to community college. At community college in Kansas, she spread her wings, completed her general education. She entered as a non-traditional student with some serious deficits and certainly took care of those. She arrived at Western with a home critical facility, boundless curiosity, a talent for research, a passion for education, her own education, and the children that she plans to work with. It drives her to excellence. I hope Maria finishes her master's quickly because I think we need her to be the next U.S. Secretary of Education.
Art and art history.
Hi all, I'm Javier Berzal de Dios, and I'm here to present Taylor Glennon. Taylor is a fantastic art historian, and in addition to being excellent in classes and very participative, she's a highly professional individual. If you have walked around campus, you have probably seen her direct effect that she had during her internship at the Western Gallery, where you were curatorial assistant. And very special, I think, and very unique for us in the art history and art department, is that this year she has served as the director of the Viking Union Gallery. This was a very difficult, you can say, very demanding position that really demanded her to be not a student, but really a professional art historian. And it is with great pride that I look at her today, not as a student anymore, but as a professional art historian.
Behavioral neuroscience.
For those of you who know Jeff, I am not Jeff. My name is Mike Manna. Jeff's out of town. Maybe Jeff did the steroid program. I don't know. Anyway, my name is Mike Manna, and it is a great honor for me to be standing here presenting Jose Carrillo with the award as the Outstanding Behavioral Neuroscience Major for this year. Every student that's in this room, I can guarantee this is true of you. We talk about the Western experience here at Western, and very often it's a student-centered thing. But I have to say, for faculty, there's an experience too, and Jose's one of the students that has contributed to my Western experience over the last 4 years. The first conscious memory I have of Jose was in a class that I was teaching. He has this wonderful smile. I'm going to do it right now, see? And he asked me a question in class. He said, do you think, because of their size, the neurons of a blue whale function different than the neurons of any other mammal? And I looked at him and I thought, what planet are you from? What a great question. Here's somebody who's here for more than grades, who's here for knowledge. And then I had to say I didn't know. But Jose's graduating in the honors program from Western. He's got something better than a 3.9. He's double majoring in behavioral neurosciences and philosophy. He has received a number of major awards, and I had to print them all out, but then I thought I had to. Instead, going to add that on top of his academic achievements, Jose is one of the nicest, most compassionate, honest people I know. He's heavily involved in his community. He's been a nerd. And the nerds are the neuroscience research-driven students on campus. They rock. He's been a nerd since probably the day he showed up. He's currently the president of the Nerds Club. We're involved in outreach in the community, K-12 education. We participate in Stigma Stomp with the National Alliance for the Medically Ill in the fall, and we do the Brain Cancer Walk in the spring. Jose is a tutor on campus in the Writing Center and numerous other places, and I don't want to hear that bell, so I'm going to stop now. Jose, thank you and congratulations.
Biology.
I met Ellen Zoker on a bus. I was about 6 months pregnant. I was exhausted, and Ellen tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "I loved your talk yesterday." And I looked at her blankly, and I said, "Oh, great." And she said, "Can I join your lab?" And I said, "Email me." And she did, and I can't think of a better person to have helped me join the Western community. My name is Lena Dahlberg, and I'm an assistant professor of biology, and I'm just getting my feet underneath me. And Ellen helped me set up my lab and helped me determine how we were going to run our research. And in doing so, Ellen has become a scientist. And through becoming a scientist, she's really thought about what her identity is. And she struggled with her identity as a scientist. And she embraced her identity as somebody who wanted to care about her community by working through the Outdoors Club to help incoming students at risk. She's embraced her identity as a scientist. She's come back and helped me as an instructor teach other students in our department, and she's been a leader throughout her time at Western. I've never given Ellen a grade. I've never taught her in a class. I've never been her advisor, officially. But I can say that in writing my letter of nomination, I was so happy to be able to pull from the experiences of all of the other professors in our department and write a letter that really suggested to me, and I think to everybody in our department, that Ellen is indeed outstanding. So congratulations, Ellen.
Canadian American Studies.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Megan Beaton. I'm a faculty member in the Canadian American Studies program, and it's my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce Gina Gable-Beauséjour, who is the outstanding graduate for the Canadian American Studies program. Since I first met Gina in 2015, she has stood out as an exemplary scholar, activist, and leader here at Western. And I've had the pleasure of having Gina in many of my classes where she's proven to herself to be a bright and very engaged student. Her hard work throughout the years has made her a standout scholar, and this is evident as she is graduating this weekend not only with a major in Canadian American Studies and a major in English, but also with a minor in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. Gina's final honors project for her programs reflect her dedication to scholarship. Her research examined Canadian American cross-border relationships. Her project studied perceptions of nation and nationalism to reveal the ways in which borders both impede and promote relationships. This is incredibly inventive and original research. And it was also based on extensive interviews that she herself conducted, which allows us for a more nuanced understanding of nation and nationalism in both Canada and the US. And we had never, and Gina had never found any kind of study like this before in the literature, and it's just amazing what she has done in her final project. In addition, Gina has also made incredible contributions to the wider university community through her extracurricular activities. She has served as the Prime Minister for the Canada Club, which makes me exceptionally proud as I'm a Canadian, and she's a Canadian as well. She has also had her work featured extensively across campus over the last few weeks, participating in events like Scholars Week. Congratulations on all your hard work, Gina. The Canadian American program and the Western community is a better place because of you.
chemistry.
Okay, my name is David Ryder, and it's a pleasure to introduce Thomas Mosey as the Chemistry Department's outstanding graduate for this year. Thomas is from Little Rock, Washington, and a graduate of Tumwater High School. During his time here at Western, he's of course completed his bachelor in chemistry, but not only that, an honors thesis in that topic, as well as a material science minor from Western as well in the MSc program. His GPA suggests that all but one professor gave him A's in all of those courses. I promised his family I wouldn't put him on the spot and ask what professor didn't give you that one A, maybe after the ceremony. He's highly decorated. He's won numerous awards, including back in 2014 an achievement award from the CRC Press, as well as recently an NOAA scholarship for undergraduate research, which took him out to New Jersey to do some research 2 summers ago. His honors project involved the coupling of 2 very highly technical and emerging technologies in organic materials for solar energy. He coupled solar concentrators basically to an organic photovoltaic. Something I've yet to come to fully understand as his advisor. In fact, it's on our to-do list. In fact, just this morning we were looking at his thesis and looking how to put that into publication. Let's see, it's going to be exciting to watch him develop going forward here. He's already been admitted to graduate school at the University of British Columbia, and I understand he's won yet another award there as an entrance scholarship as he'll start up this September. So, with that, congratulations, Thomas. We're proud of you.
The award winner in Chinese was unable to make this ceremony today, so we move on with Communication Sciences and Disorder.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Evans on faculty in the Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders, and this is Steve Razel. The Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders is pleased to select Steve Razel to be the outstanding graduating senior. He has not only earned high grades at Western and in the CSD major, but he demonstrates a positive and supportive attitude toward his peers, a growth mindset towards academics, and the ability to stretch his edge as a student and person. Steve's journey has been one of setbacks, resiliency, determination, and success. During a recent graduate school interview, Steve described himself as an average high school student. He said he did not struggle enough for people to worry about him, but did not do well enough for people to pay much attention to him either. He went on to community college and did not succeed. However, that experience was a turning point. He told me that positive experiences with high school sports helped him realize that if he really put his mind to something, he could do it well. He decided that he had to apply that principle to scholastics and came to Western. Steve has flourished in the CSD major. He has stood out as one of our most dedicated students. He has an optimistic, can-do attitude. He takes feedback well, schools seriously, and never complains when things don't go his way. Instead, he is grateful to learn from his mistakes. Steve recently applied and was accepted to Western's first doctoral program in audiology. We are excited that Steve will be joining our first cohort of students. Before he embarks on that 4-year challenge next fall, Steve will be accompanying a faculty member and a speech-language pathologist on a 6-week international service trip to Guatemala this summer to build houses, feed malnourished infants, and learn Spanish. It has been a delight to watch Steve grow and find not only his strengths, but his passions through tenacity. In a recent conversation with Steve, he acknowledged the love and support of his parents has been a very important factor contributing to his success. The CSD department is honored to be a part of Steve's journey.
Communication Studies.
I'm Elaine, full professor for the Communication Studies Department. And this is Rebecca Barrett. What can be more rewarding than to teach a student who never complained about her grades but only work hard? What can be more wonderful than to work with someone who recognizes the value of higher education beyond the ivory tower? What can be more meaningful than to get to know somebody who appreciates peace and justice and have the skills to perform the services? When I have answered all those three questions, I know that I have something to look forward to in years to come to support students who are passionate about learning. Rebecca Barrett is one of the few most outstanding who love to learn anything and everything. She's one of those whom I've come across in academia that helped shape the definition of rigor in higher education. As many graduates at this time would say, oh, we're so relieved that we don't have to take exams and write papers, Rebecca would say otherwise. She will pursue a master's in social work at Eastern Washington University 16 days from now. Rebecca has done something proud for all of us in the department at Western and for her family. Now her 3 children and many students have a role model to look up to. Rebecca, congratulations on earning this recognition.
Community Health.
I'm Ying Lee, and today is my great pleasure to present Jenny Lee. As a community health student, Jenny communicates with sensitivity and consideration. She asks smart questions and actively listens to the answers. We are impressed with Jenny's commitment to pursue continued education opportunities. For example, during fall 2015, Jenny pursued a rigorous public health fellowship through Harvard, although she had not yet had the opportunity for extensive related experience, and thus her chance of receiving the fellowship was slim. She moved forward with her application with confidence, hope, and thoughtfulness. Another example, in 2016, Jenny explored opportunity to study abroad. It's not just an idea. When she came to talk to us, she presented with an organized spreadsheet of related options, funding, and application requirements and timeline. The Harvard Fellowship and study abroad are just 2 examples that demonstrate Jenny's determination, motivation, and initiative and resourcefulness. In addition, Jenny's work in the classroom has been smart, organized, collegial, and in turn successful. It's in part students like Jenny who explore learning with independence, intelligence, and courage that make teaching community health students fulfilling. Through our observations and engagement with Jenny, we have gained respect for her approach to working and learning. Jenny is dedicated and curious. She excels in her assignments and particularly open and responsive to feedback. In addition, Jenny is dedicated to her work as a health educator and the larger health discipline. After extensive exploration into next steps after graduation, Jenny has decided to pursue further education to become a physician assistant. We are confident that with her further training and experience, Jenny will make solid contributions to her community as a PA.
Computer Science.
Brian Hutchinson. I'm happy to be here today to talk about Andy Brown, the outstanding graduate in computer science. Andy graduated in winter 2017. He's now in the master's program in my research group. He was selected out of a pool of 154 graduating students, the largest graduating class in the history of our department. And out of this large group, he stood out as outstanding for several reasons. First, he's excellent academically. So as part of our computer science honors program, he took several graduate classes. As an undergraduate, he actually took more than he was required to. Apparently, it wasn't tough enough. So he's completed 6 graduate classes by the time he graduated. And despite taking on that extra challenge, he graduated with a 4.0, which is a very rare accomplishment in our department. He's been involved in undergraduate research, working with Professors Hearn and Liu on Sumerian named entity recognition in our department. He's done a lot of work contributing to helping out his fellow students in the department as a mentor in our mentors program in our department. He's held weekly office hours, helping students in core classes. He's organized and presented workshops conveying important skills to his fellow students just to help the students out. And because of his strong academics, his good communication skills, and his outstanding professionalism, we entrusted him to teach a course as an instructor this quarter. So he taught the Operating Systems Concepts course in our Computer Information Systems Security program. And it's certainly the first time a graduate student has been an instructor in the course, at least in 10 years in our program. It might be in the history of our program, and that speaks to how highly we view and how much we trust Andy to do an excellent job. I could keep going and going, but I should stop. And so I will say on behalf of the faculty, we're very proud of your accomplishments. Congratulations on this honor.
Dance.
I'm Cher Carnell, and our outstanding graduate is Eliana Madsen. Eliana was an obvious choice for our faculty. She is dedicated, passionate, committed, and she just has to dance. As a mover, she is big and bold, and she tackles space and gobbles it up voraciously. Every guest choreographer, master teacher we've had in said, they've picked her out. She's paid her dues on the other side of the profession. She has taught community children for the last 3 years, both children and teens. She's got a piece of choreography on their upcoming recital. She's also just an amazing student. She works well with peers, faculty, collaborator. We are so proud of Ellie. There was no question on who our outstanding graduate was, and she's going on to Northwest Dance Project this summer and to other great things.
Decision sciences.
Graduated in December with a degree in manufacturing and supply chain management. Noah was a straight A student and had the top academic performance of any of the students in our department this year. But he didn't get the award just for that. He also got the award for all he's contributed to our community and our program in manufacturing and supply chain management. I asked our faculty members for any stories they might like to share about Noah, and I got a number of really good stories. But I picked one that might seem like kind of a strange story, but I'll share it with you, and I'll be quick with this. But we got a story from one of our longtime faculty members, very bright guy who's never wrong. He's a great guy, but he's just never wrong. Anyway, this was his story for Noah. He said, on a management science exam, Noah came up with an alternative and more succinct problem formulation to a problem that I've been using on exams for a few years. I remember this incident because I initially marked Noah's answer wrong. However, after he reviewed the exam in class, Noah politely pointed out my error in private. Thanks to Noah, I now updated the answer key. And the reason I like this story is that not only suggests Noah is really, really bright, but he's also just carries himself in a really graceful, wonderful manner. I've had the pleasure of having Noah in my class, and I can definitely attest to his brain power, his strong work ethic, his ability to collaborate and lead others, and just the way he carries himself in a very quiet and unassuming and very powerful and positive type of way. Noah began his full-time career in February with Boeing in Renton, and I know he's gotten off to a fine start with his career, and we really look forward to staying in touch with him as his career develops. As a final comment, I'd just like to thank a couple people here. They're Noah's parents, Leanne and David Morris. They have Noah with us for a couple of years. Noah, we're very proud of you and congratulations.
Early childhood education.
I'm really happy to introduce you to Bobby McGinnis. We have a program where students study young children and try to figure them out from birth through age 8. And so Bobby has an early childhood education endorsement. While she went back to her home community of Puyallup, Washington, to give back to that community, she was hired during her internship. The principal walked in and said, "We want to keep you." She has seen no problem so great she can't solve it. She's the third teacher this year this group of children have had. She has a small space in the library because this district is growing. But even though she's got some adverse circumstances, the principal said, if you're having a bad day, go observe Bobby's class. So Dr. Hughes, Dr. Lees, and myself unanimously thought of Bobby with our very capable cohort, so I want to read what they said. In early childhood, we believe the way you are is as important as what you do, and Bobby's stance in the world is all about relationships. She's seen by her peers, she graduated in winter, so her cohort here at Western, as consistently recognizing that all people have assets. Faculty across all of her courses, and this is very unusual, note she's receptive to and observant of children's interests, abilities, and need to support their learning and development. From her very first field experience, which was with me with infants and toddlers, and she did a case study, to her last day of student teaching, Bobby met the high expectations of Woodring through a focus on collaboration and problem solving across differences. In her teaching, she demonstrates high expectations. She was just telling me a story about students in her current class who felt that they couldn't do math and would write on the paper, "I can't do it." And so she doubled down and tutored them after school, and they're now writing on the top, "I can do it." And she has them write that on the top. Her positive disposition and ethical choices were an inspiration to her peers, her cooperating teachers, and her faculty. We're really proud to have Bobby McGinnis represent the P3 endorsement program in the world for us here at Woodring. Thank you, Bobby.
Economics.
Hi, my name is Sharon Kimay. I'm an economics professor, and this is Rose Howell. Rose is majoring in economics and environmental studies. So when I start talking about environmental stuff, they'll be like, "But wait, I thought this was economics. Wanted you to know why." So I first met Rose 2 years ago when she took my environmental economics class. But as is the case in some of these big lecture halls, you see some faces, but you don't really get to know the students that are doing well. I got to know her in a seminar, I think the next year. It was a much smaller seminar, and Rose was just a very competent writer. She was very mature, and she wasn't content to just learn about the environment and environmental economics from books. She also went out and did things. So she helped clean up Bellingham Bay. She learned about pollution by actually going out and measuring ozone. She assisted with salmon restoration. She taught people how to compost. All of these important things that you can't learn out of a book, that I can't teach you. And because she's done these things, she now has this fascinating range of interests. I think some of the exciting parts of being a teacher are when your students know more than you do about things. And usually you have to wait for them to graduate. Not always, definitely not with Rose. I've learned so much from Rose about all sorts of interesting stuff. And so I say Rose is mature, and I mean it. And you really saw this maturity when she worked on her honors thesis. So she picked a research project that looked at whether homes near train routes sell for a price discount. So you'd expect to live next to the loud noise of the train, that's a hassle, you don't want to do it. You'd expect these homes to be worth less. Turns out, no. She didn't find a discount. She got a negative result. It's really frustrating when you're working on a project and you don't find those significant results. So economics has been in this, and social science in general, has been in this crisis of replicability. So some of these important results we're seeing more and more, they don't hold up to someone else doing that. I think there's an honesty problem. Rose is an honest empiricist. I hope there are more honest empiricists like her. I hope that she continues on with empirical work because I want to be able to see the things that she publishes and be able to trust them because they came from Stephen Levin and not that guy at Harvard that faked his results. Thank you.
Electrical engineering.
Hello, my name is Andy Klein, and I'm pleased to introduce Cole Rogers. Cole, a local product of the Ferndale School District, got started with his studies at Whatcom Community College, where he signed up for as many math and science classes as he could. To further pursue his passion for math, science, and the environment, he eventually transferred to Western and became a star student in the electrical engineering program's energy concentration. In addition to his stellar academic performance, one B, Cole has been president of the Electrical Engineering Honor Society, where he initiated a peer tutoring group. He received the Washington State Opportunity Scholarship and the Kaiser Bersari Scholarship for Electrical Engineering. He held an internship in the Embedded Engineering Group at the Packard Technical Center and was part of the Nova Solar Glazing Team, which was awarded the grand prize of the Environmental Innovation Challenge for work on solar windows. He is also engaged with the Institute for Energy Studies as the student member of the curriculum committee. He worked as a lead conservation educator on a pilot program called Project Renton, which was focused on helping off-campus students reduce their energy consumption and environmental impact. His professors describe him as having a deep passion for electrical engineering and the environment, and they go on to describe him as a student that is so curious and committed to the pursuit of knowledge that, and I quote, even though he wasn't in my class, he occupied every free minute of my office hours. Cole, it's been great having you in the program, and I'm immensely glad to know that you've taken a job, local job in town. Congratulations.
Elementary education.
Good afternoon. I'm Marcia Little-Boley, and I'm a professor in education, and this is our outstanding graduate, Emily Grulam. And it's interesting because, you know, education is a profession that's not always recognized, especially the K-8 education, for its importance, or for the knowledge and the skills and the understandings and the experiences that an effective teacher has to have. But our K-8 teachers are critical to our future, and they're critical to our future students here at Western and around the world. And so we're so proud when we have an outstanding student who has chosen to become a future teacher. And that is what Emily has done. Emily has earned her degree in Language, Literacy, and Cultural Studies with teaching endorsements in K-8, a teaching endorsement in reading to help students who are striving, teaching endorsements in English language learners, and she's really prepared for today's classroom. She's done all that she can to be prepared. In fact, Emily realized that in today's classroom, to be ready for today's classroom, one of the things that was going to help her immensely to relate with her students was to learn Spanish. So she found some time within her program to spend a summer in Mexico, taking some classes, learning Spanish, working with students. And then she took her final internship and went to Costa Rica and did her internship there, again working with students, immersing herself in language and culture. And what to me is the most outstanding thing about that is Emily had to work hard to do that. She worked full-time at a daycare in Bellingham, caring for kids while doing hundreds of hours in schools, while turning in outstanding work that has become exemplary models for future teachers and even for teachers who are already out in schools. When she graduated, before she came back from Costa Rica, she already had an interview with Bellingham. She's been teaching in the Bellingham district since coming back, but before she got paid, she took over for someone who was pregnant. She volunteered for a couple months so that that transition was smooth. So this is our outstanding graduate who gives us hope for the future of our educational system, Emily Grulam.
English.
So before I tell you about Rosa Tobin, I need you to get out your phones or a pen and paper and write this down, which is gynogirl, G-Y-N-O girl.org. Write it down. That's Rosa's podcast project, and like Rosa, it's honest, concerned, wildly hopeful, and so important. And just like Rosa, it's only just getting started. So I got super lucky last year when I tried to figure out how to tell a begging student that I really didn't want to over-enroll a 400 level class on rhetoric and podcasting. That little non-decision, however, has opened up one of my most meaningful teaching experiences. For more than a year now, Rose and I have obsessed together over the subtle ways audio does magical things to our nervous systems. We've pored over texts that question the boundaries between what counts as alive and what doesn't. We've encountered powerful new ideas that stretch conventional notions of communications. We've cried over elections. And in Rose's words, we are learning that good rhetorical theory only works as an ever-changing set of ethical practices. Maybe most of all, Rose and I are learning to listen to others anew. So yes, I was assigned the role of teacher, of thesis director, and occasionally of mentor. But I have learned so much from Rosa. I've been directed toward new and exciting questions because of Rosa, and more than once, she's challenged me, like any good mentor, to re-articulate my own assumptions. So Rosa's won all the awards and won over all the people. But ultimately, Rosa is a powerful woman who is leaving quite a mark on this place. And it's more than safe to say we can plan on hearing from her again and again.
Environmental sciences.
Hi, my name is Leo Bogensteiner, and I represent the Department of Environmental Sciences. It is my great pleasure to present our outstanding graduating senior, Victoria Tori Niewaner. Victoria came to us in 2014 as a sophomore when she transferred from Wazoo. Can't understand that decision not to go there, but she came here for 3 reasons. Number one, because she recognized that she would rather study the outside of animals and their ecosystems as an ecologist rather than the insides as a veterinarian. And also because, in her words, we were awesome and super welcoming. Since she's been here, she has been the face of Huxley. When you come in the front door of our college office, like as not, you'll encounter Victoria. She'll be sitting there calmly amidst all the chaos that comes with registration and the day-to-day activities that go on. She has served as our diplomat, as our ambassador, as our ombudsperson, and as a peer advisor. As the college has grown and we have exactly kept up with that growth, she will sit down with the students and either provide them with her own advice or send them to the place that they need to go to so that they can continue towards graduation. One of the hallmarks of being a Huxley student is pursuing education outside the university as well as providing community service. In terms of service, she spent her internship with the Seattle Audubon Society, conducting a comprehensive assessment of the scientific basis for bird feeders. She hasn't told me I can't have one yet, so I'm not sure how that's going to play out. She pursued a National Science Foundation research experience for undergraduate program at Michigan State. These are highly competitive positions for undergraduates to pursue research in the sciences, where she studied open-top enclosures. She biked out to the site each day, crawled underneath the enclosures, and collected her data, where she confronted, do you want a face full of ticks or your hair full of ticks, depending on whether you're going this way or this way. Her goals are to live in Seattle, find affordable housing, to establish a scholarship for Western students so they benefit as she has, to get married. Her fiance Dean is here, as well as grandparents, her parents, and her sister, and to see duck-billed platypuses again, and save the frogs of the world.
Environmental studies.
I am Gigi Berardi, and I am representing the faculty and staff of the Department of Environmental Studies, and we are here to honor from Environmental Studies Stefan Nigel, who has impressed all of his professors with his mature and methodical approach to the study of geography and environmental studies. Faculty often describe him as the standout student. Stefan has taken a number of writing-intensive classes, one of which was mine, and impressed with his lengthy research project and his description of it. In one 20-plus page paper, for example, he researched the biology of inner planets. In another, he used a critical lens towards Canadian policy vis-a-vis a number of disciplines. As one faculty noted, Stefan enjoys a level of writing quality that puts him in the top 2% of all the undergraduate students I have taught in my career, and his ability to mine relevant literatures among the best 2 to 3 efforts I have ever seen in any class I have ever taught. We have no doubt that he will continue such serious and integrative study as long as the superlatives don't go to his head. Stefan was recognized by the faculty and staff for his very high GPA, his work ethic, and as being a leader among his peers. Congratulations, Stefan.
French.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Christina Cathy et c'est un grand honneur de vous présenter mon projet for French. Just a few minutes ago, Annette leaned over to me and said, everyone's doing such cool stuff. And you are. And so is Annette. And I get many times questions on, what can you do with a degree in French? Well, Annette is the type of person that professors want to see every day. She has taken all that she learns and is the Usain Bolt, basically, she takes the baton and rushes forward and just completely wows all of us because she understands empathy. In learning a second language, she is understanding global awareness. And she has taken that into the community. For the past several years, she has been volunteering at a local high school for French 1 through AP. And you know how hard it is to motivate high school students who have to take a second language. She's also been working at Whatcom, helping students in English. She was also doing a double major in English as well as French. So you can imagine, her and I actually had the classes back to back, once in French and then right after for 2 hours in English. And so we're trying to figure out what language we are speaking. But it shows just how wonderful it is to be able to switch languages and switch cultures within the same conversation and just see what an amazing world we actually do live in. And her grades are stellar. We don't need to talk about GPA. We don't need to talk about specific projects, but she gives a sense of worth to our job. And she is actually taking it further ahead in September. She's going to Lyon. She received a very prestigious teaching assistantship. She's going to France for a year in Lyon, the best place to eat food in France. So I'm looking forward to maybe going and visiting her. Maybe settle that as something about visiting.
And now, finance and marketing.
Hi everybody, my name is Kat Armstrong-Soul, and it is my pleasure to introduce Haley Douglas and honor her awesome contributions to the finance and marketing department, specifically marketing this year. We chose Haley as our outstanding graduate for many reasons. She's obviously a stellar student. She does wonderful work. She's an active contributor. But that really goes outside of the classroom. I think that my favorite thing about Haley that really sets her apart to me is how dedicated she is, not just to her own education, but to her teammates, her classmates, her peers, and really to our whole department, all the students. Among the many great things that she's done is being the leader and the president of the Student Marketing Association. She took a group that needed a little help and really revitalized it. And it's not just that Haley did a great job being the president. She really took it on as a challenge to make it better beyond her term here. and to really add something that gives value to our students in the future and helps our department be better, which we thank you for. And beyond that, she's just a pleasure to be around. She's a nice person. She's a conscientious student. She also is really engaged. That's my favorite thing, to have a student who is into it and is immersed in learning and also just culture and marketing and being a great community member. And so I'm very, very proud of her. We'll miss her a lot, but we're really excited to see what great things you go on to do, Haley. So thanks a lot.
So if you're following along in your program, next would be geology, but we're going to do that one at the end of the ceremony. What's coming next is German.
So hello, my name is Shannon DeBenjamin-Smith, and it's a pleasure to introduce the outstanding graduating senior for German, Chris Winter. Chris started his studies at Western in German and Linguistics in 2015, after most recently having spent a year in Berlin at a language school. Because of his thorough preparation, Chris was able to jump right into a 300-level literature and grammar course where he outperformed all other students. Indeed, my colleagues and I agree that Chris exceeded expectations in every German class he took, whether on written assignments, oral presentations, or creative projects. We also greatly appreciate his high level of maturity, which he gained through various life experiences before coming to Western, such as serving for about a year as a ship deckhand in New Zealand. Chris has won a competitive Fulbright English teaching assistantship position in Austria for the 2017-18 academic year. And this is a wonderful opportunity for him to hone his German and develop his pedagogical skills, which will further propel him toward his ultimate career goal of becoming a high school German teacher. Chris has already distinguished himself as an excellent pedagogue through his work as a German tutor for students at Bellingham High School and for our German program at Western. It was also a great pleasure to have Chris this quarter in my World Language Methodology course, where he offered thought-provoking insight into every topic we discussed. Judging by his meticulously planned demonstration lessons, which consistently served as models for the other students, I have no doubt that Chris will be an excellent and successful classroom teacher. Chris is exactly the kind of teacher our profession needs, and I'm thrilled that he has chosen this career path. So, lieber Christoph, im Namen der Fachschaft Deutsch gratuliere ich dir recht herzlich und wünsche dir für die Zukunft alles Gute.
The outstanding graduate from history was unable to make the ceremony this afternoon, so we move on to human services.
Hi everybody, I'm Brett. I'd like to introduce you to Emily Stolchel. She is our outstanding graduate in human services, and I nominated her, and our faculty unanimously agreed to that nomination, not only because of her excellent work in our program as a student, but also because of the kind of human being that she is. Not only is she an excellent student, she's also made valuable contributions to my research and continues to do so, looking at the role of youth development funding and youth development policy and programming and its relationship to power and resistance. Her insight into that work comes very much from her own unique experience. Emily was a former foster youth, and prior to that, she experienced things that would render most people incapable of doing anything, let alone excelling academically. And she has used that experience as an inspiration not only for her studies, but also with her own work with at-risk youth. Emily has been doing work in the child welfare system since she was 16 years old. She has completed over 270 volunteer hours in that capacity in 3 internships. That's more than I've ever done at all. She's also received the Excellence in Scholarship Award from the Kiwanis Club of Bellevue. And perhaps most impressive, she turned down a job with Children's Corps in New York City. I don't know anyone who's turning down jobs these days. So that she could work as a case manager here closer to her own community with YouthNet's independent living skills program, where she supports
foster youth between the ages of 15 and 21 in becoming independent in their own living. So in our program of human services, we tend to focus on creating students who are good systems thinkers and who can be good change agents. But I prefer to use a different phrase that my students know very well, but that I can't repeat here. But it starts with an F. And that's why I nominated Emily, because she exemplifies that phrase very well.
Industrial Technology Vehicle Design.
Hi, I'm Eric Lenhart in the Vehicle Design Program. I'm so pleased to introduce Ada Kane this year. He's our outstanding graduate, and I'm excited about this because he's not only our highest performing academic student this year, but he's actually the highest performing academic student that we've had in several years, many years. So that's really, really been fun for me to be his advisor for the last 3 years. He's allowed us, he's supported as mentoring his fellow teammates, and he's helped take abstract requirements for vehicle design and turn them into an actual vehicle. The 60th vehicle that we built here at Western with undergraduate students, and we just flipped the vehicle over yesterday on its wheels and allowed it to roll around. And it's a vehicle that's going to replace gasoline vehicles with an off-road electric vehicle, utility vehicle for our campus grounds crew. So I'm very excited about the work he's put in, over 100 hours per term, 150 hours per term in the last 3 turns alone. And so we're just thrilled to have the work that he's done and allowed us to take our computer-aided design and turn that into an actual vehicle. So thank you very much for the work that you've done. Congratulations.
Japanese.
Hello everyone, I'm Masi Tomasi, professor of Japanese here at Western, and this is Florante Vijay Martinez, the outstanding grad for the Japanese program. Last time I was here, I was scolded that my speech was too long, so today I'll be very brief. I recall standing here a few years ago, speaking on behalf of one of our past outstanding graduates, and stating how easy it had been for the Japanese faculty to make their selection. That our choice had been easy was meant to emphasize the remarkable achievements of that particular student who had clearly distinguished himself among his peers. Today, I strangely find myself here to state the very opposite, that choosing our outstanding graduate was actually a very difficult task this year. We had an extremely strong cohort of students, and it was a privilege for us to work with all of them. And yet, that it was a difficult choice is not meant to diminish BJ's accomplishments. In fact, it is a way for me to emphasize the importance of his achievements, how he was able to stand out despite being part of a group of students who are committed to excellence and personal improvement. BJ distinguished himself in the areas of academic performance and leadership. His Japanese language proficiency is remarkable. I can safely state that very few students over the 20 years I've been at Western have made the type of progress he has made while studying abroad. And I also would like to acknowledge the leadership role he has played during the years at Western, and thank him in particular for his continued engagement with the Japanese student community on campus. BJ is always positive, kind, and considerate of others, 3 qualities that I think are essential for anyone who wants to succeed in a position of leadership. Likewise, his contributions to a classroom environment that is inclusive and at the same time academically challenging cannot be overstated. BJ already has a job lined up for him. The Japanese faculty are very proud of his achievements and wish him all the best as he embarks on a new adventure teaching in Japan for the Japanese government. And now, finally, a romantic note about the cycle of life. When I first left home to go to Japan, I was exactly BJ's age. When I came to Western 10 years later, BJ was about 1 or 2 years old, and there was no Japanese major at Western. Today, after 20 years, BJ goes to Japan as the outstanding grad of our program, and I'm sure he's going to have the time of his life and frankly, I'm jealous.
Journalism.
My name is Warren Cornwall. I'm the faculty advisor to the Planet magazine, and it's my honor today to give this award to Jesse Nichols. I've had the privilege of working with Jesse for much of the last 2 years, and during that time, I've seen him demonstrate what I think of as the core ability of all great journalists. And that is, he's shown an unrelenting passion for finding fascinating and true stories that illuminate the world around us. And in short, he's a gifted storyteller. And I've seen him do that. He's told stories that range from talking about how climate change is killing yellow cedars along the Pacific coast, about how scientists are trying to decipher the way that clouds change the climate. He's written about scientists who are running for office in the wake of the most recent election. He's also produced a video about the history of the Planet magazine, 35 years long, that we use in class to indoctrinate the next group of students. And he's done that in all kinds of mediums. He's done that with podcasts, he's done that with videos, he's done that in written articles. He really is somebody with multiple talents. And he's done that by demonstrating a couple of core sort of attributes. One of them is that he's intensely curious. He's always coming in with some new thing that he learned that he's just fascinated to learn more about. He minored in chemistry, which is pretty unusual for a journalism student. He's very resourceful. He taught himself how to produce videos starting at the age of 11. And he's really tenacious. You know, I see him just dig and dig and dig to get stories. And on top of that all, he's a leader. In addition to being a reporter for the Planet, he was the editor-in-chief for 3 quarters. And as we discussed the other day, he's been at the Planet longer than I have. And so I have really looked to him to provide leadership for the magazine. And he's really done it, both by inspiring other students to pursue journalism, and also by inspiring me to help make the Planet the magazine that it is today. So, Jesse, thanks very much.
Liberal studies.
Good afternoon. I'm Andrea Goldberg, and today I'm very happy to introduce Riley Gisette, who is graduating with a degree from Liberal Studies, the English department, and the honors program. I have had the pleasure of working closely with Riley for 3 of the 4 years during which she accomplished many things, many good things. Graduating with the honors of outstanding graduate student is no small feat, and maybe Nietzsche's dictum applies in some sense to Riley's experience. I quote, "If you want to get to the peak, you ought to climb without giving it too much thought." Indeed, engaging fully in the process of one's studies, the nose in the books, and the mind on ideas, so to speak, rather than zeroing in on the goal alone, is Riley's modus operandi, which served both him and the academic community well. For 3 consecutive years, Riley had developed a liberal studies leadership team, and he held positions of leadership at the Writing Studio and the Academic Advising Center on campus. He was the inaugural recipient of the Liberal Studies Megan Smith Memorial Scholarship, and he has presented his research on a variety of national academic venues. At the Haschel Research and Writing Studio at the National Conference for Peer Tutors in Writing, and for 2 consecutive years at the Pacific and Ancient Modern Language Association, with the prospects of an academic publication of his paper on Franz Kafka in the very near future. Because of his academic achievements, personal qualities, and his potential to engage and inspire his peers, Riley has been invited to serve as the speaker for the College of the Humanities and the Social Sciences at tomorrow's commencement. As for the future, Riley is excited to start his teaching career by having joined the Milwaukee Teach America Corps next fall, this coming fall, and then it's on to graduate school. Thank you, Riley, and good luck.
Linguistics.
Jeff came to Western from an established and successful career in finance, and while the linguistics program narrowly beat out anthropology, as we both vied for Jeff's academic affection, we are just as, perhaps more, infatuated with Jeff. His brain and his heart. Jeff was unanimously selected as our department's outstanding graduate due to his outstanding capacity for linguistic analysis, for rigorous research, and for patient pupildom. His excellence as a linguist is noted by his peers, who in class turned to him for insights and for assistance. His qualities as an outstanding student and person are noted by his teachers. I'll share a few quotes with you. He is extremely insightful with every article and perspective we take on this subject, as well as sensitive to other students' understandings, needs, etc., and patient when he could go beyond the class discussion or course expectations. He grasped difficult material very well, and he always had something insightful to say about anything. Jeff is the kind of student that you can rely on to help those struggling to understand the material without making others feel self-conscious. In this quarter's class, he's respected by his peers as a go-to resource for helpful ideas and support. In short, Jeff's awesome. Just this spring, he presented his research into how the word because is changing how it's being used, perhaps in part due to its increased internet presence, at an international conference of leading theorists in the field of grammaticalization and lexicalization. After that excellent analysis and presentation, he was mistaken by those attendees as a PhD candidate. No, not yet. He has, however, been accepted into the graduate program in forensic linguistics at Hofstra, and we are confident that wherever Jeff takes his immense intellectual acumen and kind-heartedness, he will find success. We wish.
Management.
Consistent with the Western liberal arts tradition, Western outstanding students are outstanding in multiple dimensions. A rich portfolio of skills, doggedly competitive, creative, but still with time for caring. Swan Davis, the outstanding student in the management department, requests all of these. Multiple skills, check. International business major, manufacturing and supply chain manager, data analysis minor, thrown in for good measure. Doggedly competitive, check. After losing out as a junior in the Boeing case competition finals, she came back to lead her team to victory over UW and Portland State the next year. The judges praised the team for integrating all the key variables in a well-argued presentation that was head and shoulders above the competition. Go Vikings. Creative, check. Her team tasked to improve market penetration in small animal beddings in the Korean market for a local firm, told their company the bags need to be smaller. And got to have Korean language on it. Obvious, right? The result from the reply from the company, we can't do that, can't produce it. Well, it's not to be deterred, the more doggedness. They started thinking about Fred Meyer natural food section. They realized they could use the blank bags, big bags, point of sale, and customers could draw down whatever they want. Hey, Mommy, I want blue for my hamster this week. There you are. And they can put Korean language on a takeaway. Really clever. Caring, check. While achieving outstanding graduate at her community college, she still took time to tutor other struggling foreign students so they too could be successful. Swan will take her skills and her creativity to Boeing to make its supply chain work more smoothly. Her millennial peers say that Swan is awesome. Senior citizens like me just say, wow.
Manufacturing Engineering.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Alcada. I am an assistant professor in the manufacturing engineering program, and I am pleased to introduce Mayan Rifai. She's the outstanding graduate in the manufacturing engineering program in the engineering and design department. Actually, I have so many great things to say about Mayan. I'll see if I can wrap them up in those 2 minutes. Mayan not only stood up by her academic achievements in the classroom, but Mayan is really served our program in terms of being really successful in going out to the community in outreach and helping us to bring that word to our community that girls can actually be engineers. Mayan is the president, or was the president, of the Society of Women Engineers in our department, and she did a really awesome job leading that group of girls and also male students to be out there, tell the community that those girls can actually be leaders. And Mayan actually showed a very, very great leadership when she was leading that group. And actually she received an award from the Society of Women Engineers for leadership. And she went to the conference and participated in that leadership award there. She has interned at Boeing 2 times, and she will start a full-time work in General Electric in Michigan. And she's just a really pleasure to be around, and we hope that she will keep in touch. And we are so pleased that we had her in our program. So thank you.
Mathematics.
Hi, welcome to Western. Congratulations, all you outstanding seniors, graduates. That's great. This is Jeff Payton, and he's our unanimous pick for outstanding graduate in the mathematics department. I remember when I first met Jeff, he came to interview for honors calculus at Summer Start in 2013. He was very shy, very humble, and he wasn't quite sure if he was smart enough for honors calculus. As I'm looking down and seeing 800 on his SATs, 4.0, all these test results that not always mean everything. But I thought, I think you'll be fine. He was interested in journalism, which is great because the writers are always our best math majors. So I wanted to fast forward, and I'm not going to be able to obviously list all of his accomplishments, but I'll just pick a few that are pretty darn amazing. He passed the mathematics comprehensive exam, which is similar to a graduate qualifying exam. It's very rare for an undergraduate to pass this exam, but what was amazing is he got 100% on it, and we had to correct our answer key on his exam. Because of passing that exam, he started taking our graduate courses, and he's completed half of the master's degree, but he's only finished, so he's coming back and he's going to finish his graduate degree next year. He's graduating with distinction, and in order to graduate with distinction, you not only have to pass the comprehensive exam, you also have to have a certain GPA, and you have to do a project. Well, he's very shy, and it was hard for him to ask professors whether they would allow him to work on a project, so he ended up working on a project in a field that he had never taken any courses in. So he read about it over vacation, and then he corrected the articles that were given to him to write the paper. There's way much more, but I just was thinking about what the French teacher said. It dawned on me when she said, when kids come up and they say, well, what are you going to do with a French major? Believe it or not, people come up to me all the time and say, what am I going to do with a math major? All of these students have something in common. They meet challenges head on with persistence and curiosity and with a sense of adventure. And in doing so, they strengthen all of us, everyone around us, and they bring excellence to our school and the world. I want to thank you so much for the parents. Thank you, parents, for allowing your students to increase all of our excellence at Western. Thank you so much.
Music.
Good afternoon, my name is Christopher Bianco, and the music department is ecstatic to announce Emma Eliason as our outstanding graduate. I met Emma when she was in high school down in Mount Vernon, and I remember going into the band room. I'm a conductor, and I was down there working with the band, and I heard Emma play, and after that class, I told her band director, who was also a student of mine, who was now teaching at Mount Vernon, I said, Jake, if Emma doesn't come to Western, I'm going to blame you. And she chose Western, and she could have gone anywhere to study music. When she got here, she did everything. Not only is she a talented tuba player, she plays trombone in our jazz ensembles, and she's a terrific singer. It was in the top ensembles in all those different disciplines, which is very rare. Emma is a servant to her colleagues, endless community service, endless service to her student cohort. She was a leader in the Washington Music Educators Association chapter here at Western, the student chapter, and the student chapter of the American Choral Directors Association. She was a leader in that organization. Also, in serving the university, these lights that are all coming down on us, Emma was largely responsible. She was on a very small committee of students who received a $170,000 Sustainable Action grant, or Sustainable Action Fund grant, to change these lights over to LEDs, 62% more efficient, so thank you for that, Emma. We use those every day. And then finally, as a professor, we love to bring our students from students to colleagues. And I figured this out. I've had over 500 hours of communication with Emma in rehearsal right here on this very stage, nonverbal communication. And through those hours, I've just loved every moment of those, some fantastic musical moments. She's going to become a colleague of ours in the teaching profession. She just got hired in Ocean Shores as a music teacher in that school district. So congratulations.
Nursing.
The great thing about working with the students who come into the RN to BSN program here at Western is how well prepared they are and how well motivated they are. Most of them, like Brittany here, are coming right out of their associate degree programs at our technical and community colleges. They've just passed their licensure exam and their first job as registered nurses, and now they want to come back to school. It's amazing to watch them take the next step in this lifelong journey of learning, which is being a nurse. So it's so inspiring to me as a faculty member to be part of this and to get to meet particular people like Brittany. She is a 2016 graduate of Bellingham Technical College and then came right here to Western. She's got a lot of qualities that are notable as a student, as a nurse, and as a person. A keen mind, excellent analytical skills and capacity for understanding complex problems. She could become an academic if she chooses to do so. She also possesses, though, a caring and compassionate heart, which is the main thing about being a nurse. Her concerns for her patients, she works at Whatcom County Jail. Her concern for her patients is clear. She understands their life circumstances and the impacts that the social determinants have had on them. Beyond simply understanding, she embraces an ethical framework and has a disposition toward action. She understands organizations and is capable of being an advocate for change to improve care. And in all of this, she brings a personal and professional resilience born out of her life experience. It's for all of these reasons that the faculty in the new program here at nursing, the RN to BSN program, have chosen her as the outstanding graduate this year.
So my sheet here says philosophy, but I recognize those waiting in the wing. Philosophy is over here. Thank you very much. You're getting tricky on me. Next, please welcome the outstanding graduate from philosophy.
to introduce Danielle Payton, the philosophy department's outstanding graduate and a presidential scholar from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Quite simply, Dee is one of the half-dozen best undergraduate students I have had in a quarter century of teaching, and the other 5 are all now tenured professors in philosophy. And she is unquestionably the other half of the very finest mentor-mentee relationship I've ever had the privilege of experiencing. Dee is a spectacular writer, the best writer I've supervised, graduate or undergraduate, and she's also a truly gifted speaker. In our independent study on Milton's Paradise Lost, and in my single favorite moment of my teaching career, she surprised me by performing from memory the opening book of that poem for the first hour of our first meeting together. Dee has already been active in the profession. She has repeatedly served as a session chair in professional conferences. She has presented original scholarship in 4 different venues, and she has produced sophisticated and significant contributions on the theme of social privilege and brilliant and publishable work in philosophy of religion. In her capacity as president of the Philosophy Club, an active member of the Black Student Union, Dee served as the lead organizer for Western's first Philosophy of Race Forum, a wonderfully successful event in which prominent philosophers of race were brought to campus to speak on the topic of racism in America. After declining offers from Oxford, Cornell, USC, Michigan, and Notre Dame, Dee will soon be leaving us for Rutgers University, one of the top 3 philosophy departments in the entire world, where she has accepted a generous 5-year fellowship to pursue her PhD in philosophy. And finally, I would like to note that I've come to know Dee personally over the last 3 years, and I've come to deeply admire her character as well. Dee Payton is a tremendously good person and a cherished friend. We will, of course, be sorry to see her leave, but we're grateful that she has spent the last several years with us as such a clear reminder of how rewarding this profession can be.
And now, my own home department, physics and astronomy.
I'm going to wait that time to make sure. I'm Janelle Ledger, and our outstanding graduate for physics this year is 21. When you have a student like we spend a lot of time talking about them in broad terms, complimentary, and Kui is so humble that he typically argues with me, so I'm very delighted today to have the microphone. He can't tell me that I'm wrong or anything like that right now. So Kui is a double major in physics and mathematics, and despite the rigor of both of those programs, he's been earning nearly straight A's in both programs in the upper division. He's worked in 3 different research groups, mine most recently. He's close to submitting a first author paper on his work with Dr. Covey. And his work with me so far has resulted in we giving a talk at the American Physical Society March meeting, which is the largest annual physics conference in the world, on plasmonic enhancement of organic photovoltaics. He's the president of the Math Club and an active member of the Women in Physics Club. He's a skilled, inspiring, and caring teacher and tutor, and has been described by his fellow students as a badly needed positive presence in students' social spaces who helps deflect unwelcome behavior and is able to skillfully de-escalate tense situations. Finally, I'd like to say that I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with Kui during his time at Western. He's honestly one of the most hardworking, generous, thoughtful, and genuine and inspiring people that I've worked with here at Western. I also want him to know that he's inspired the faculty to really see the immense potential in all of our students and to do our best work. He is going on to PhD, pursue a PhD in physics at the University of Michigan, and we're incredibly proud of him, and thank you for your work here.
Plastics and Composites Engineering.
Hello, everyone, and welcome all the students. Please join me in congratulating Chris Carpenter. And real quick, as a fresh engineer, we've both decided that we're going to try and keep this efficient. So, like many of or all of the outstanding students here today, Chris Carpenter is the Plastics and Composites Engineering program's outstanding student because he is not only one of our top academics, he is also one of our top leaders, and also one of our top researchers. Chris has helped our program immensely in the last 2 years, not only our program, but also my research platform. As a new faculty here at Western, Chris helped me to develop my research platform, and he has, with his research, has helped us to bring in almost $200,000 worth of grant funding. And I'm extremely proud of Chris, and please join me in thanking him for everything he's done for our program and our university.
Political Science.
Benjamin Hugh Larson. So last week, go ahead. Last week I was sitting in my office grading papers when a student came in and asked me what he would have to do on the final exam to get an A- or a B+ in the class. I took a breath and more gently than I felt, I redirected the conversation after reminding him that he knew enough algebra to calculate the answer to his question on his own. Unfortunately, we get those kind of questions a lot, and I do my best to be gentle and turn them into productive conversations. But at any rate, that student left, and a few minutes later, another student appeared at my door. But this one didn't have any questions about grades. Ben Larson stood in the doorway and respectfully asked if I had time to talk. Of course. Right? And so he proceeded to ask about the concept of subjection. So he read about this concept in a book from one of my classes, Dean Spade's Normal Life, and he was excited about it because it had helped him to think about another book he was reading for another class, Matthew Desmond's Evicted. Maybe some of you have read that. It's on my list, in my pile. But at any rate, subjection refers to the ways that systems of meaning and control, for example, heterosexism, create certain subjects and limit their life chances while benefiting others. So Ben and I spoke about this concept for a while and how it helped him to understand this process of eviction, that mass eviction, comparable to mass incarceration. And I had a great time during the conversation, which is what I attempt to do here. But that Ben was curious and had an agile mind was no surprise to me. Ever since the first time he walked into my office almost 3 years ago with questions about civil rights jurisprudence, I knew that he was a young man driven to understand the world and to rectify its injustices. That's apparent to anyone who spends more than a few minutes with him. So in addition to Ben's very high grades and minors in GIS and economics, he's campaigned for the carbon tax, co-founded the Bellingham Tenants Union, been an Eagle Scout, and done all kinds of things that show his engagement as a citizen. Watch this. When Ben invited me to join him at this event, he insisted really, that I acknowledge that his parents and his family in general were responsible for everything that he's accomplished here, and that without their support, he wouldn't have done very much. And that he's benefited from many advantages. So now that I've thanked Ben's family,
Psychology.
This is Amanda Kemp. She's a very talented person, not just a very talented student. She's one of those students who stands out in the classroom, and so I first met her when she was in my large lecture class, which is about 85 people. She stood out because she always had really thoughtful responses to questions. She had really insightful questions of her own, and she also had incredibly bright pink hair, which I miss. She's been working with me for over a year in my research lab. I do research on applied cognitive psychology, so we study things about all the ways in which people fail regularly, fail to become aware of the things around them, fail to remember things. Amanda has been doing some great work with us. She's already been a co-author on a couple or three different conference presentations. We've got one at one of our major national conferences in the fall as well that she's a co-author on. When I work with students, I always try to find out what it is that they want to do next, so that I make sure that we're doing the work together that are going to lead them toward the things they want to do in their careers. And when I started this conversation with Amanda when she first started working with me, she was really clear that what she wanted to do next was to go to Japan and teach English, which was a reasonable thing for her because she is multilingual. She speaks not only English and French, but she's been learning Japanese as well as Spanish. And she has been working with the, the Asia University America program while she's been at Western as well. So that she's been training for this her whole life as well. And when, I think 6 weeks from now, you'll be on an airplane to go teach English in Japan. Her long-term plans are a little less clear. She's a little fluid on that. So she's going to go do that for a couple of years, but what's after that is not yet clear. She's told me she doesn't really want to live any place longer than 4 years, which is kind of puts a real damper on sort of long-term opportunities like being a college professor. But we're still talking about these as possibilities, and I think we'll see where she goes. But no matter what, if she's our representative to the world, I feel pretty confident she'll do well for Western.
Recreation.
Just to give you some insight, insight into Amelia, just moments ago, I said, boy, I am so thankful I didn't have to follow up the philosophy award because it was really beautiful. I said, all I was planning on saying was, this is Amelia, she's awesome. She's like, perfect, I'll ring the cowbell and we're off. My generation is part of what's known as the sandwich generation. We're raising our kids and our parents sometimes at the same time in the home. And this is a true story. Not too long ago, I was chasing my toddler around and I said, hey buddy, can I change your diaper? And my dad from the other room says, not right now, I'm good. So, true story. And Amelia, after doing a 560-hour internship at the Mountain Baker Care Facility, working with a very unique program that works both with seniors and with preschoolers and integrates those two generations to give life and joy and care to both, she continued working there afterwards. She's worked with the Arnie Hammett Aquatic Center in working with adaptive aquatics with people with both physical and developmental disabilities. She has been a programmer for Camp Team, which is an overnight and 2-day camp for community members with disabilities. Doing all of that while maintaining a 3.9 GPA. She has also recently been accepted to the University of Puget Sound Graduate School for Occupational Therapy. And the last thing I'd like to say, because I got 30 seconds, is I have 2 young children of my own, and I would say that if they come out anything like Amelia, I will have considered my life a successful life. Mom, Dad, where are you? Good job.
Sociology.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay Teachman, and this is the 2017 Outstanding Graduating Senior in Sociology, Alicia Duncombe. Let me begin by noting that I am a Western alum from a few years ago, the Nixon administration to be exact. And I wasn't chosen to be the outstanding graduating senior of my department. And after today, I know why I wasn't. We really have some really excellent students. I've been doing this for 41 years. I've been a college professor for 41 years, and probably the best student I've ever had is standing next to me right now. I'm very, very proud of her. Alicia came to Western from Las Vegas after a year studying, after a year of volunteering in Paraguay. She has a major in sociology, a minor in computer science, and a minor in Spanish. She took a course from me, maybe 3 years ago in statistics, which is not the course that most social scientists want to take, but she was bored. And I wondered, why was she being bored? And at the first exam, I realized why. She already knew most of the math behind it, and I could not challenge her. So I asked her to be my TA for my stats class. She did a great job. She took another advanced methods class from me. She aced it. Well, this is a pretty good student. So we began to talk. I found out that she's in the honors program as well. She asked me to be the mentor for her senior thesis or her honors thesis, and I did it. She did very well on the project, presented at a professional meeting. I started to talk to her about going on to graduate school. She took the GREs twice in order to get really good scores, and her scores were so good that she came back with 3 graduate school offers. And I'm proud to say that she's going to be attending the University of Texas at Austin in their doctoral program this fall. Congratulations, please.
Spanish.
My name is Kristen Rickey, and it's my pleasure to introduce Bridget Littlefield. I think it's safe to say that all of the students being honored here this afternoon are exceptional. And so when Bridget asked me to introduce her, I wanted to be able to say more than just that she's the sort of student that makes teaching so very pleasurable, which of course she is. And so I reached out to her friends, professors, and supervisors, and they all came back to me over and over again saying that Bridget is awesome. As in, Bridget is awesome, and here's this list of reasons why. And it's true, Bridget is that special sort of person who makes a group better just with her presence. In addition to studying Spanish and psychology, Bridget has worked with Compass to Campus, a program that involves local elementary schools. And she's been a peer health educator as part of Thrive, which is part of Western's prevention and wellness services. Through her work with Thrive, she helped create programming that will be used in dorms and campus clubs to improve her peers' mental health and well-being. She also volunteers at Sterling Meadows, which is a local housing community that serves a large population of Spanish speakers. And in that role, she volunteers with after-school groups and has worked with community members to translate some of the material she created through her work with Thrive. Bridget is currently in the process of applying to AmeriCorps positions, on her way to her future goal of working with kids as a school counselor. In addition to awesome, people emphasized over and over that she is kind, thoughtful, conscientious, and generous with her time. As I've worked with Bridget, I've seen that what makes her so special isn't just what she brings to the classroom, it's how she engages with community and puts her talents to work in the world around her. I very much look forward to seeing what the future holds for her and what she offers to all of us.
Special education.
My name is Leanne Robinson. I am faculty in special education, and I am so happy today to get to stand here and introduce you to Hope Midgley, one of our future, present, amazing educators. Hope has a dual endorsement. She is qualified to teach both special education and elementary education. I just learned that she's accepted a position with a local school, Bellingham Christian School is lucky to have her. I don't even know where to start with Hope. Woodring always produces amazing educators. Yet every once in a while you can walk into a classroom and see someone teaching and know that it's beyond just having an excellent teacher, but a teacher that's going to change or has the potential to change countless numbers of lives and to be a mentor not only for students but for other teachers as well. Hope's father told me a short story before, I know she's getting nervous, what's she going to say? What did my dad say? That Hope wasn't sure when she came to Western what she wanted to do. And after the first time in the classroom, came home and said, oh, I know where I belong. And that's exactly what I thought when I saw Hope for the first time teach. Often new teachers are nervous, they're focused on themselves, it's hard to teach. Yet Hope had this amazing ability to look beyond herself. She could see what every kid in the classroom was doing, or not doing, which is important. And aware of what she needed to do to help these children learn, she would come back the next time when she was teaching and she would improve beyond what I didn't even think was possible to improve on. Hope's phenomenal. I want to read a quote that talks a little bit about Hope from one of the other professors in the department. It says, Hope is incredibly earnest and caring. She cares about the students with whom she works and about her own learning to be a better teacher. She's a crystal clear communicator with unparalleled kindness and genuine interest in others. Her ability to handle a large group of students by conveying a calm and measured presence was duly noted. Hope, I'm really proud of you, and the field of education and kids are lucky to have you.
Theater.
Hello, I'm Spencer Potter with the Department of Theater, and it's my pleasure to present Elizabeth Barrett as our outstanding graduate this year. Elizabeth and I are both backstage people. We're usually scurrying behind the curtains, running spotlights, but now it's a time to rightly shine a spotlight on Elizabeth. Some of the academic statistics about Elizabeth real quick. She is, sorry, I have to find my note. Elizabeth has served as the technical director of student theater productions, a large service task for our student theater production group. She coordinates all of these student productions that were happening, the technical aspect of those. She's participated in many of our productions, and her main stage debut this year was with Peter and the Starcatcher. If any of you saw that, that was Elizabeth's beautiful work. And that design earned her a regional recognition, the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival Award, a long acronym. Region 7, she was recognized for her designs there as the Regional Scenic Design winner. She is currently interning with the renowned Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and just news this last couple weeks has been accepted into the MFA program at the University of California, Irvine. Some of the fun stuff about Elizabeth: she is the reigning champ of puns. I asked if she would give us a pun, but she said that's a lot of pressure, so maybe another time, catch her one-on-one. She's a friend to everyone in the department. She's been away this last quarter, and we've missed her. She's very friendly and lovely to work with. Stellar eye for design, and I'm truly excited to see her enter the professional field. I'm excited to work with her in the future as a colleague and a collaborator, and I mean it 100%. So thank you, Elizabeth.
University Honors Program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Greg Yeomans, and it's with great pleasure that I recognize Tristan Olson, who has been selected by our honors program as the 2016-17 Outstanding Graduate. He is graduating with a BA in English, Creative Writing, and minors in both Film Studies and Business Administration. I've had the pleasure of having Tristan in 3 of my film classes, 1 in the honors program and 2 in English. He is a passionate and committed student with a kind and warm personality, which is to say that he does great work on his own and also facilitates a productive and collegial environment that benefits everybody in the classroom. It is no surprise that Tristan has taken on a number of leadership positions here at Western, and that he has also had the initiative to embark on truly impressive projects. While at Western, he was assistant editor and then editor-in-chief this past year of Jeopardy! Magazine, our campus literary journal, and he was a lead student ambassador for the Western Foundation. And for his honors senior capstone project, he is writing, directing, and producing a feature-length film, tentatively titled Bailey, about a young woman, a student, who discovers she has Huntington's disease. And coming to terms with that, coming out to friends, family about that, figuring out how to change her future plans because of it, all sorts of things. It's a very sensitive project that Tristan is approaching with characteristic empathy and thorough research. And I probably don't need to say this, but most students, even film studies students, do not shoot feature-length films during their time here. Like, none do, in fact. Nobody does that. So it's an incredible achievement. The shooting is 80% finished. There will be a final round of production this month, and then editing this summer, and then it will premiere in the fall, so look out for it. It will need to be done by then, because in January, Tristan will be heading to Malaysia as a Fulbright scholar to serve as an English teaching assistant. So in sum, he is a truly well-rounded and accomplished person, and the world is open to him. I personally hope that continuing to write and direct feature films is in his future, but I'm looking forward to keeping track of everything that lies in store for him. And we have an award from the Honors Department in recognition of Tristan.
Okay, it's time for a quiz. Who remembers the department that would be out of order? Oh, look at you, A students. Yes, indeed, it is geology.
I don't usually write things down, but I did because I figured I only had, the 2 minutes. But we're last.
Oh, Jackie, do not push me.
My name is Jackie Kaplan-Auerbach, and I'm immensely proud to introduce Catherine Sampson, who is the outstanding graduate for geology this year. I will read, because again, I do tend to be verbose. But as we've seen today, a student can really be outstanding for a wide variety of reasons. She can be academically successful, she can exhibit a strong work ethic, she can give to her peers in the broader community. And if she does all of those things, capped with an exuberant attitude, a deep curiosity, and a natural leadership ability, you might call her Cat Sampson. Cat earned her BS in geology with a minor in anthropology. Strong student in the classroom and in the field, Cat tackled all aspects of earth science with capability, passion, and grit. She not only excelled at field camp, which is our capstone class, she actually graduated in the fall of this year. She returned to be the TA in field camp this year. I was told that she was uniquely skilled in she was the master of logistics and uniquely skilled in herding cats, otherwise known as geology students. She has also spent a great deal of time inspiring others to engage in science. She was a committed leader in the student chapter of the Association of Engineering Geologists. She worked with the Geo Girls program, which takes young teenage girls to explore geology and geophysics at Mount St. Helens. She worked also at the Mount St. Helens Institute, also inspiring people to understand better around them, the geology and the natural history of that area. Locally, she volunteered with Wild Watcom, also working with students there to encourage local children to engage with the natural world. In short, in her time here at Western, Cat excelled in both academics and outreach and exhibited the type of effort and curiosity that are at the core of what make a good scientist. I will say that as the parent of a middle school girl, I hope with everything I have that my children are inspired by someone like Cat as they go and explore the world. And congrats to you.
We are so proud of you. I've been thinking about that phrase today, that we say, the faculty say that a lot this time of year. We are so proud of you. It's a funny phrase because it makes it sound like we can take any of the credit for the amazing things that you do. And that's not quite what we mean. I think more what we mean by that is a sense of gratitude. You know, we set up these environments for learning. What happens after that is up to the students. And to see students like all of you who pick up what we have set down and you run with it is such an amazing experience. We're grateful to have been on that journey with you. We're grateful for the ways in which you push our understanding of the world, you push our horizons, and you encourage us each and every time to see the world in a new way. When we say we're proud of you, I think in some sense there is a touch of awe in that statement. We are amazed by you, we are delighted by you, and we eagerly anticipate what lies ahead for you. Let's all give these outstanding graduates of Western one more round of applause.